All right, we're shift today, page 138. And what I am going to talk to you today on in Survive to Thrive is a little bit of a teaser on strategies to sell your homes quickly in a shift. That's a 2-hour class, so there's no way I can give you everything that I've prepared, but I'm going to give you part of it. We're going to start with study the market every day. By the way, there's 5 key points, and we're only going to get through part of number 1 during Survive to Thrive, just to give you an idea. And if you want more, you got to show up between 12 and 2. All right, so the number 1 thing that we want to do in order to sell homes quickly in a shift is study the market every day to master the science and skill of pricing. Remember, words matter. So study, important, just like you did back when you were in school. And well, maybe not. So you can't cheat off the person sitting next to you. It doesn't work that way. Teacher in the room nods her head, right? And when I say study, I mean put in a lot of time to really study the market in order to master. That word is important. Mastery is achieving the highest level of skill possible in any endeavor. And science and skill. What is the science and skill of pricing? We're going to get into that a little bit later, maybe not this morning, but we definitely will later on this afternoon. So on page 138 of Shift, Gary Keller shares the most successful agents become masters of the skill and science of pricing. You are making an observation and a forecast. Please write that down. You are making an observation and a forecast. The observation is the science, the forecast is the skill. So the observation is the science of current market pricing. This requires thorough fact-based analysis. Thorough fact-based analysis. In other words, you can't make this up. You've got to put in the work in order to find the data. You're looking for fact-based analysis. The forecast is a developed skill. The skill of forecasting is an inexact ability to predict market direction and speed. All right, I have 4 major points for you on how you can study the market every day in order to master the science and skill of pricing. Number 1, pick a neighborhood or a zip code. Study the number of active listings. If I repeat a lot, it's the teacher in me, right, Clarissa? And I want you to take notes. By the way, my degree is in education. So when I say the teacher in me, it's true story. I'm a teacher. And pick a neighborhood or a zip code and study the number of active listings, new pending sales, days on market for active listings, pending sales, and solds. So I'll repeat that. Pick a neighborhood or a zip code and study the number of active listings, new pending sales, days on market for active listings, days on market for pending sales, and days on market for solds. And when I'm recommending that you do this, pick a neighborhood or a zip code and look for this data, I don't mean occasionally. I don't mean when you have a listing appointment in order to prepare for that appointment. I mean every day. It's your job to be the local economist of choice. Now, how can you be the local economist of choice if you don't spend time studying the market? So if my zip code that I pull, for example, is 33065, Coral Springs, and I'm talking with somebody and they ask me, how's the market? I want to be able to tell them, well, average number of active listings in our market right now is blank. Average number of days on market for those active listings is blank. Actually, it's gone up by 25% in the last 90 days. There's currently 24 pending sales in our market. Average days on market for those homes is blank. I'm a master of the market. I don't have to say, let me get back to you. I got it. It's your job. By the way, the title of the class is Strategies to Sell Homes Quickly in a Shift. If you want to master this, then you're going to spend a lot of time studying the market. All right. Number 2, look for trends. 4 key points for you on this. How does days on market for active listings compare to pending contracts? If there are 24 active listings in your search and the average number of days on market is 60. However, the average number of days on market for the pendings is 20. What does that tell you? Well, here's what it tells me. Anybody that's been on the market more than 20 days is overpriced. Yes or yes?
Yes.
Yes. Now, you're not going to know this if you don't look for this information. You're looking for trends. How does days on market for active listings compare to pending contracts? Number 2, what's the days on market for solds with a price reduction versus those that got the price right the first time? What is the days on market for the properties that sold that did not have a price reduction compared to the days on market for those homes that did have a price reduction? Really important to know. In Tennyson, one of the things that I might share with you as well, one of the things that I know about our current market is the average days on market for properties that sold without a price reduction is less than 20 days. However, the homes that had a price reduction, they sold in an average of 60 days on the market. That's interesting, right? Now, I would also look at what percentage of the list price to sell price ratio, what was the list price to sell price ratio for those homes that sold without a price reduction versus the homes that had a price reduction. And let's say there's a 2% difference. And you may be thinking that's not a big deal, but don't forget those same sellers are beating you up over 1% on your commission. If you can show them how you can get them 2% more than another real estate agent could, isn't that more valuable than lowering your commission by 1%? Say yes. Now, also take into consideration days on market for the homes that sold without a price reduction is 20 days, and it's 60 days for the homes that had a price reduction. So what's the holding costs for the additional 40 days? How much money did those sellers lose who sold their home in 60 days versus 20 days? Number 3, how is bedrooms, amenities, and location affecting demand? Look at the properties that are selling, and again, look for trends. If I'm in a neighborhood that has homes that are 3 bedrooms, homes that are 2 bedrooms, homes that have 4 bedrooms. Well, one of the things that I know from years of doing this, I don't even have to look because I know that because I've spent a lot of time on this, is the homes that are going to be toughest to sell in that neighborhood are the homes with 2 bedrooms. Now, I only know that because I've done the research. And because I've done the research and because I've mastered these strategies, I'm on a listing appointment 15 years ago, and I'm meeting with a homeowner who has 2 bedrooms. They have an office. It's not a bedroom, though, so we can't market it as a 3-bedroom, Aaron. However, it's really easy to convert this to a bedroom. All we have to do is put in a door. There's currently not a door. Well, that's easy. And add a closet. That's easy too. They were able to convert that 2-bedroom home to a 3-bedroom home for less than $2,000. And it took less than 30 days. So we put that home on the market as a 3-bedroom versus a 2-bedroom because I took the time to master this, and it sold quickly and for top dollar. If we would have put it on the market as a 2-bedroom, we would not have had the same result. How about amenities? What's the difference between having a pool and not having a pool? You need to know that, because if you're meeting with somebody who doesn't have a pool and they're going to tell you, I don't like pools, it's just lots of work. I mean, I never go in it anyways. And, because I don't like a pool, the rest of the world doesn't like pools. That's how they think. But that's not fact. Buyers who are buying a home in a neighborhood where most of the homes have pools, they're 3 and 4 bedrooms. So mostly they're attracting families, which means they're attracting kids. They want a pool. And if your home doesn't have a pool, it's going to impact how quickly your home sells, whether your home sells. Now, how do you fix this? Price. That's it. Monica and I bought a house in 2005. And we had, which by the way was a big mistake, but that's a conversation for another day. And we had criteria, what we were looking for. We were looking for at least 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. We wanted to be in a neighborhood within a certain school district, and we wanted a pool. Now, the market in 2005 was very similar to the market that we're in right now. In other words, there was very little inventory, and there was no inventory that had exactly what we were looking for with a pool. Now, we could find everything we were looking for other than a pool. That home existed, so we bought that house. And then we spent $70,000 putting in a pool, which was a huge mistake. And then the market crashed. But like I said, that's a story for another day. Had we been able to find the home with a pool that we wanted, we would have bought that house. Now, the only reason we bought the home that we did that didn't have a pool is because there was nothing else available. Had there been a home, it's all we needed, one home on the market that had everything we needed, including a pool, the person who was selling the property without a pool would not have sold it to us. Now, they may have sold it to somebody else, but it wouldn't have been us. It makes a difference. Location, how does that affect demand? In other words, when you're looking in that neighborhood and you've got homes that back to other homes, you have homes that back to ponds, lakes, conservation, and you have homes that back to busy streets. How does that affect demand? And important to know that if you're meeting with somebody who has a home that backs to a busy street, well, then we're going to have strategy in order to get your home sold, because that's a very difficult home to sell when the market starts to shift. And all that means is if there's more inventory, and more inventory can simply mean we've gone from a market where there's less than 30 days of inventory to a market where there's 60 days of inventory. In real life, that means we've gone from a market where there's 6 active listings, 8 selling every 30 days. In that market, if your home backs to a busy street, no big deal. Not a big deal, okay? Because there's a lack of inventory. Now we're in a market where there's 12 homes for sale, 6 are selling every 30 days. I'm going to find a home in that neighborhood that doesn't back to a busy street. And I'm going to buy that home before I buy the home that backs to a busy street. Important to know. All right. What impact, number 4, what impact is new construction having on existing home sales? If you're selling a home in a neighborhood that is close to a subdivision that has new construction. In other words, the buyers who could potentially be looking at your home could also be looking at new construction. How does that impact the sale of your home? Is it easier or harder to sell your home when you're competing against new construction? All right. Number 3 on the 4, I know I've got numbers over numbers here, guys, and that's confusing. So the first thing I shared with you was pick a neighborhood or a zip code and study the number of active listings, pending sales, days on market for active listings, pending sales, and blah, blah, blah. The second thing was look for trends. Number 3, what are buyers looking for? Buyers are looking for location, always first on the list. Number 2, they're looking for updates. Buyers want move-in ready. And when I say move-in ready, they don't want to do a thing. They want to unpack their bags and live. So if there's anything that needs to be done, anything at all, it's going to make it more difficult to sell that property. Buyers are looking for amenities. For example, what's the difference in homes selling with a pool versus homes without a pool? We talked about that before. All right, number 4, with forecasting, what causes prices to drop? What signals should you look for? Where is the market going to be in 6 months and why? What causes prices to drop? Well, prices drop as soon as inventory goes up and now sellers are competing for fewer buyers. The moment that happens, prices are going to drop because there's going to be someone who's selling their home who's more motivated than you are. And in order to get the offer, in order to sell their home, they're going to drop their price in order to attract the offer. Now, the moment that happens, prices are dropping. So the next part of forecast is, where is the market going? And how quickly is it going there? Where is the market going to be in 6 months? And why? And that's when, if I'm sitting at the kitchen table, I'm going to my thinking pad and I'm simply drawing pictures. And I'm going to have a conversation. This is a, could this time be like that time conversation? And I'm going to share with them, Noah, between 2002 and 2006, the market was hot. Prices were going up, up, up. Now in 2006, things started to slow down. It's interesting because I was reading an article this morning that said the last market shift started in 2008. And that made me think, because I was selling real estate in that market. And I was thinking, that's not correct. It really started in 2006. We saw more inventory, more days on market, fewer buyers starting April of 2006. I can almost tell you the day. Now, the reason this writer was saying that that market shift started in 2008 is because if you go back and you look at that market, prices didn't actually start to drop until 2008, but the market shifted in 2006. Now, what was happening, if you really zoom in and look really, really close, is the prices were dropping, but they were very small decreases in value. I mean, so much so that you really couldn't notice it. It happens gradually and then suddenly, and that's right from shift. And then in 2008, prices started dropping. Now, the question is, where is the market going? How fast is it going there? And where are we going to be in 6 months? That's forecast. And that's important if I'm talking to you about listing your home for $700,000. And if this is the wrong price, 6 months from now, if values are going down, we started out $10,000 overpriced. 6 months from now, we might be $40,000 overpriced. Now, why is this important? Because strategically, we want to price ahead of the market. And if the market says the home is going to sell for $680,000 to $690,000, rather than pricing it at $700,000, which is pricing behind the market and then chasing the market, why don't we start out at $675,000 Remember, the market said 680 to 690. And we're starting at 675. Well, we're doing that in order to get ahead of the market. So now the market is chasing us. Larissa, you can either chase the market or you can create the market. Now, creating the market is getting out in front of it. And that means pricing your home at 675. If you do that, you've got a better chance of selling your home in the shortest period of time for the most amount of money. Now, I'm going to give you one script and we're going to close. Remember, sellers go to script school. One of the things you're going to hear is my neighbors are going to be mad at me for selling my home for less than it's worth. Write it down. Here's the response. By the way, tell them that at the kitchen table. Tell them you're going to hear this. And then tell them, when you do, here's what I want you to say. If Aaron comes over and says, holy cow, I can't believe you're pricing your home at 675. You're going to cause the value of all the homes in our neighborhood to go down. What I want you to say to Aaron is, if you think that's such a great deal, why don't you buy my home?
At the higher rate.
No, the 675. If you think 675 is too low, you think I'm giving my home away and I'm causing values to go down, it's a great deal, right? Do you want to buy it?
In there that bought their house and they do 400.
Okay. All right, raise your hands. Talk to me. What'd you hear? Crickets.
Well, I heard
Know your numbers.
Thank you, Carolyn. Know your numbers. Clarissa, talk to me.
that too, and that you actually gave us what we need to look